Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Taking a look here at Solana once more. As somewhat expected, the price continued higher. Obviously, it is much higher than we were anticipating originally, but now that we're here, we need to recognize what could happen next. We got this previous area of liquidation has been swept. We're going to draw out perhaps a new area of liquidation there to the upside, kind of see where we're at. And then also just confirm, of course, there's still a large amount to the downside that still has left to be taken. Keep in mind, this doesn't always have to work out to be hit at this point or swept, for example. We may never see this lower price point again, but just know it exists. Future reference, if the price does pull back, those could be some targets there. At this point, I'm expecting pullback from Bitcoin, at least just a small retracement to 63, maybe 62K range. If that happens, awesome, because that way we can take a nice long from that level and shoot it to the moon. Between now and then, so to speak, we're going to essentially consider shorting. In fact, we have a short open with Bitcoin at this moment, and our Solana short that we have open right now is in the red, but we're going to see if it's worth closing or keeping open. Solana has made a significant shift in momentum here once we broke through that key level descending trend line, and this little missed opportunity here, of course, was hard to catch because the price wicked up so quickly. It created a fair value gap, and that is an area in which we could see retrace to as well. Again, different scenarios. We want to look at everything, so let's just double check that. And just want to say thanks again for being an awesome part of my life. Appreciate you hitting the like button, commenting below if you get a chance, and just, yeah, thank you again for all that you do, whoever you are. Thanks. All right, let's take a look here at Solana. The last 7 days on the left. There's that heavy concentration of liquidation between 136 and 138. There's absolutely nothing left here to the upside, further implying that the price is more likely to pull back than continue higher. The reason why is because there is not a lot of meat left on the bone. Market makers did their thing. They destroyed a bunch of shorts, and at this point, they have nothing left to do except sell and take profit. That's generally what happens, okay? So that's the reason why they set those limit orders up until that range, just to squeeze everybody out. And now that they have done so, there's a solid chance we'll see the price end up pulling back at least within a small margin. I do not think personally at this point 136 to 137 or 138 is that range that we're going to see the price pull back to. So what I might end up doing if we, as a result of this video, is perhaps adjusting our current short and just ensuring we secure profits and get out, or perhaps even close it early. This is a very common part of trading, folks. And I know it sounds weird for somebody to kind of normalize this, but it's very much the right way to do things. Okay, you got to learn to take some losses. You got to learn to take some risks, but small risks, right? And the whole point of all this is that we're using low leverage, low position sizing. If you're feeling stressed about this, you probably did too much. Okay, again, you shouldn't stress out about one trade here and there that goes the wrong direction. At this point, we want to make sure that we secure what we can. So let's take a look at that. We can see heavy amounts of liquidation at 150 that has been swept. That could be the new area of support. Keep that in mind. The price pulls back. Since we had that double top, so to speak, a lot of times when you retest a certain level twice, it'll work initially as a support. So we'll look at that on the charts. But again, just kind of throwing it out there, that's roughly what the scenario looks like here. We can see an overextension on the hourly, which we'll circle back around to. But on the daily time frame, we're going to pretty much presume that this is a very bullish scenario. Keep in mind, last time we had a pretty significant bullish scenario was this guy right here that happened on a Thursday, and we had a corrective Friday. This being a weekend, things are a little different. We may not have, a significant amount of volume this weekend. We'll probably see a lot of sideways and up action this weekend. That's my speculation. Again, if you're considering a short, make sure you have tighter targets. I don't think Bitcoin's going to pull back super hard, super fast, even though I do feel like we will see that. That implies that we could see small coins continue to surge. Bitcoin dominance is up and altcoins are doing very well. That generally implies there's a ton of money flowing into the market. Okay, we had some good news this morning with Fed kind of just saying, hey, interest rates are going to come down eventually. And now that that's been kind of in the market, we see a lot of money flowing in too, right? Okay, anyways, daily time frame looks very strong. No surprise there, we're up about 7% on the day. That implies that we are now up over 50 on the other side. This was a significant point of resistance for us before, which didn't even seem to matter, right? It just blasted straight through. That could have been that 150 level of liquidation, but since Bitcoin continued to push and Solana turned a corner, we're seeing it turn into a beast now. It's kind of almost back on track. Now again, last few days has been very poor in its response to Bitcoin's price action. My speculation, and we haven't seen Bitcoin pull back yet, if Bitcoin does retrace, we'll see how truly aligned it is here soon. My speculation is that Solana is probably still going to be pretty strong moving forward. So generally best not to try to trade against it. I do think we're overextended. We should see a slight pullback there, and if so, we're going to talk about that. But the general consensus here is that we've broken bullish. We got a MACD significant continuation there, or a confirming factor, so to speak. Stochastic swinging up, money flow index still maintaining its range. But we're looking pretty decent here, okay? So there's no other way around it. Daily time frame is absolutely shifted gears. In fact, let's go back to our moving averages on the daily and just confirm we're back up over the 20-day SMA. We were testing that when I last looked at that. It's crazy. It was like 6% lower when I last looked at this, and then instantly the price shoots up. That's how trading works right now, folks. Very volatile market. Be very, very careful. Again, at this exact moment, I would say be careful taking shorts. Just because majority of the market is green doesn't imply it's all going to pull back. It tells us at this point that it's got a lot of momentum, and until that starts to dissipate, you don't want to try to get too crazy with the shorts. Okay, 4-hour time frame. Let's quickly look at that and see what's going on. We are now testing 70 in the RSI. This is generally construed as a resistance range. So the likelihood of the price pullback for Solana, albeit maybe a very small pullback, is still greater. Okay, it makes less sense for Solana to take off right now than it would to pull back, just because we've been running for 9 hours straight in the same direction. We're hitting this resistance range, which if we do look previously, let's go ahead and see, is there any resistance here from the past? Nothing too significant. We don't have any significant levels here in the past. We do see our local point of control at about 153. That is an area that we have a decent amount of volume. So we're coming up into a small amount of volume. It's definitely not as much as at 144 below it, but this is somewhat of a range that we can expect some resistance, just because there's a lot of volume here from previous. Again, not a lot, and you might think that I'm stretching or reaching for straws here, but the truth is there shouldn't be much more continuation in this push here. I think we're more likely to pull back a little bit. Let's look at the hourly. This is going to really give us some confirming factors. First of all, there is a fair value gap as low as 145, upwards of 147.50. Fair value gaps are established because the price jumps up too quick and never wicks back down to essentially correct its previous pattern. These perform very similar to CME gaps on futures. Okay, we'll look at that later, of course, maybe sometime tomorrow for Bitcoin, and see what that looks like and how that correlation is with Solana. But for right now, if the price does end up pulling back, 145 would seem like a sensible pivot point, because it would fill that gap and essentially launch from there. And that's potentially what we're looking at. What I'll do is I'll post our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, of course, just so you can kind of see what my thoughts are on this coin, because I don't like to take the whole time in this recording to kind of provide that, but just know future reference, I do have playout charts here on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, kind of just giving you insight on liquidation levels and areas of potential retracement or continuation. And I can maybe draw out some Elliott wave. I know I get a lot of requests for that, just to see how that works out. Keep in mind, folks, if you are an Elliott wave enthusiast, that's all well and good, don't get wrong, but you cannot base your trading solely on that one thing. Please use it in combination with other things too. I hear a lot of hearsay about some community members just solely relying on that one thing, and it can be very unilateral. So again, diversify in your analysis. I think you're going to find better results. Just don't get too insane with the analysis, because sometimes if you dive in too deep, then you can be like paralyzed because you're analyzing too much. Again, keep it simple. Every time frame, maybe 2 or 3 indicators, and move on. Okay. Anyways, hourly here, generally I like to look at the cloud. This is going to be the same for most coins because they're all just shooting straight up. We have a large window before you want to consider shorting. That's really the simple way to understand it. Minus overextension, which is prevalent or very relevant here. We're at a 9 on TD sequential. If you look at its history, when it hits a 9, it either goes sideways or it'll go down. Okay. Generally, when you see 9s on TD sequential for Solana, it'll continue to reverse itself. Okay, so again, some interesting behavior. It's not always a guarantee, of course, but Solana's really, really good about taking its profit once it hits an overextended state, and that's where we're at. Same thing with Bitcoin too. We're at a 9. Pull back to this fair value gap just makes sense. Once more, it's not exact science, but just a statistical probability based on what we see here. So if you have a short open from before, I think our average position is somewhere in the 147 range. If you do look at this fair value gap, that's right there near the top. So consider closing your short if you want to at between 147 and 149. Be happy with a small loss. There's nothing wrong with that. And obviously, if the price action continues lower, you can continue to hold, but just make sure you don't get super greedy right now, because a lot of coins are kind of pumping sporadically. I mean, you see an average of 7 to 18% on majority of altcoins right now, that's gonna pull back. All right, so do not get crazy with shorts. If you do end up doing it, watch it close. Make sure you pay close attention. And at this point, I would just expect the worst and hope for the best. I was taught that at a young age. Keep a positive mental attitude. Get some exercise if you need to. Get out and change it up. You've been sitting here staring at the charts all day. Ensure you spend time with your friends and family, and that's really ultimately what life's all about. Anyways, that's off topic, but still very relevant. I stay focused in most cases because I take little breaks throughout the day, and I make sure I'm not overdoing it. So traders are known to be a little addictive, right? So try not to be that way. Anyways, again, post our playout charts here soon. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you again so much for all the continued support. We'll tighten up these charts, provide that to you here shortly, and we'll see what's going on. Thank you again. We'll look forward to seeing you next one. Have a good day. Bye-bye.